Have you watched this? Nora Fatehi's new song with Jason Derulo. It's called Snake. When I saw this look, I knew I had to recreate it. Her beautiful look, her gorgeous gold cut crease with that green at the bottom. I mean, look at her necklace. It's a snake necklace. So we will recreate that entire look, the makeup, of course, the hair, and the necklace. Yes, I'm going to be making that snake necklace from scratch so you can make it as well. And stay tuned for the entire look. We'll see how it comes together, and I know it's going to be fantastic. So let's prep the skin. Now this combo is working out really good for me, and I'll show you what. First, I start with the Ole Henriksen Peptide Boost Moisturizer. Honest to God, I'd never used Ole Henriksen before this, and I'm in love with this brand. This moisturizer feels so good on the skin. Your skin genuinely feels soft and plump after applying this, and there aren't very many moisturizers that do this. So this was love at first sight, and I'm using a generous amount all over my face. I've already applied it on my neck, so I'm not going to bring it down on my neck, but otherwise it's going to be face and neck. I'm going to let this sit on my skin and seep in for about 10 minutes before I go in with a primer. Now if you apply a primer immediately over this, it can kind of mix or not mix depending on the kind of primer, and sometimes when you apply foundation over this, it can start to pill or it can start to separate. So always wait for the moisturizer to get completely absorbed in your skin before you go in with a primer. So it's been about 10 minutes and my skin feels really nice and the moisturizer is absorbed in the skin, and now I'm ready to go in with a primer. The combination that really suits my skin that I was talking about is over the Peptide Boost Moisturizer. I like to use the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. Now this is a silicone based primer, meaning it's going to fill in all the pores, all the fine lines, and smooth out your skin and give you that really beautiful canvas to apply foundation and concealer. And because it is a silicone based primer, this works really well over a moisturized skin, and that's why this combination does so well. All you need is a pea size amount, and you're going to focus in areas where you have those fine lines and pores. You apply it there first and massage it gently so it gets inside those pores and fine lines to smooth them out. And then if you prefer, you can apply it to the other parts of your face. And also press in gently so it really gets into those pores and fine lines. Give it about 30 to 60 seconds to settle into your skin before you apply your foundation or concealer. I'm definitely going to be going for a matte blurred out look looking at her skin and makeup today. And for that, I'm going to be trying a brand new product from Milani. You all know that I absolutely love the Conceal and Perfect concealer. It's my top favorite concealer. Now they have a Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Skin Tint Stick, and I'm going to be using the shade 10 Medium. I've never tried this before, it's my first impression, and just look at the way that applies. Wow! And because it is in stick form, it's so easy to use this, and the coverage is fantastic. Although they call it skin tint, it's giving full coverage here. I'm going to spread this out with the Real Techniques foundation brush. So when you blend it out, it gives a more natural looking coverage. So this is definitely a very effortless natural looking coverage. It's lightweight, it has a creamy formula, so it glides beautifully on the skin, and it definitely is instantly blurring all the imperfections on my face. And that in turn is evening out my skin tone without feeling. The shade is a little bit lighter than my skin tone, so I'm going to be bringing it down to my neck as well and blending everything out. That coverage is stunning, but you see, when you apply foundation and just leave it as is, the face looks flat because you've removed all the shadows and the dimension that you had on your face. All the uneven skin tone give you that dimension, but now because everything is evened out, we don't have any dimension. So we will bring back the dimension in the face by using a concealer, a contour stick, as well as some blush and other dimension products. I'm going to start with a concealer. This is the Milani concealer in the shade 145. I'm going to use it first to conceal in areas where I still have the uneven skin, like my dark circles and patches around my mouth. And while it is settling down and getting a little bit tacky, I'm going to go ahead and use a contour stick to contour my face. This is the new Essence Contouring Duo Stick in the shade 40 Tan. I'm going to use this in areas where I want to create that contour and those natural shadows or enhance what I already have on my face. So it's going to be around the perimeter of my face and the hollows of my cheekbones to contour my jawline, as well as to chisel my nose. And I'm going to blend everything out with a brush. I love it when products are easy to use. Like this looks like a crayon. So it's so easy to use it as a crayon on the face. And it's definitely very pigmented, so all you need is very little and it goes a long way. This product blends beautifully without much effort, and it also layers beautifully over foundation. And now the concealer is a little bit dry and tacky, so it's time to blend it out. I'm going to be using a concealer brush to quickly blend everything, and as you can see, it gives you more coverage because it's a tad bit dry. If you blend it out immediately, the product will be absorbed by your brush or sponge, whatever you're using, so it's not going to give you full coverage, it'll shear out. But if you let it dry for just a couple minutes, it's going to get a little bit tacky, and then if you blend it out, it's going to give you more coverage and it'll look flawless. With whatever residue is on the brush, I'm going to use it to even out the skin on my lids as well and prep it for the eyeshadows that I'll be using. And then I'm using this liquid blush from She Glam in the shade Night Drive, taking just a little bit in the back of my hand, and with a brush I'm going to be applying it on my cheekbones. Always remember to use cream products before powder and powder products after setting your face with powder. Otherwise it can start looking patchy. So I'm using the cream blush before I set my face with powder. Now that blush is extremely pigmented, but when I set my face with powder now, it's going to tone it down. So I'm going to be using the Milani Conceal and Perfect Loose Powder. This is a blur out powder. I'm going to use this to lightly set my entire face. This truly gives a blurring effect, and I'm loving the combination of all these products as we are going for that mattified, blurred out look. And then using the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, I'm going to set and lock this makeup. The face looks snatched. Now let's move on to the brows and eyes. For my eyebrows, I'm going to be using a brow pencil by Kokie Cosmetics in the shade Black. Using delicate strokes, I'm going to fill in the top portion of my brows. There's a spoolie in the back of this pencil, so I'm going to use my brush to brush my brow hair upwards to clearly see at the bottom and fill it in. I'm just using tiny, delicate strokes so the brows don't look too harsh. I'll also extend the outer corners slightly since her brows had more of a curved shape. For eyeshadows, I'm going to be using the ColourPop Precious Metals eyeshadow palette. First, dipping into the shade My Best Asset, I'm going to use a small blending brush to build and deepen my crease. I'm applying this in the socket, blending from the outer to the inner corner, slowly buffing and softening it out. And now we have a defined crease and a lid. I'll also apply the shade in the outer corner, pushing the eyeshadow towards the center of the lid. I dipped into the eyeshadow just once. It's pretty pigmented. I'm going to keep on blending until it looks soft, well blended into the crease and the lid. Next, I'm going to dip into Invest in Me to further soften the crease. Using a larger blending brush from Sigma, it's the E40 blending brush. I'll lightly blend it in so the deeper brown shade melts into my skin tone. Keep on blending till it looks soft and nice, and then with a flat fluffy brush, I'll smoke it out along my lower lash line. Then I'll go back to my best asset, the deeper brown shade, and smoke it closer to my lashes so everything looks well balanced and cohesive with the eyeshadows that I used on the lid. Using a little bit of the Milani concealer in the shade 145, I'm going to lightly cut the crease with a small flat brush, bringing it down to my lid before applying the eyeshadow. I'm dipping into this beautiful metallic shade called Brass Act with a flat shading brush and pressing it onto my lid. This eyeshadow is very pigmented and goes beautifully on the lid. You don't even need a base, you just have to press it in. And of course, you can also use your finger to press it in. To enhance this further, I'm going to dip into this glitter called So Metal and press it onto my lid with a flat brush. This is pressed glitter. You don't even need a base for it to adhere to. You can press it in with a flat fluffy brush or your finger and it looks fantastic. For eyeliner, I'm using the Makeup Forever Aqua Resist pencil to tightline. And then using the Inglot Gel Liner with a flat brush, I'm going to stamp it very close to my upper lash line, almost using the lash line as a stencil. And then using a black eyeshadow, this is called Let's Do It. I'm going to use it along my lower lash line, smudging it right beneath my lashes before I layer it with an eye pencil over it.
It looks like she had either a green or a teal shade in her lower lash line. So I'm going to be using the LH Cosmetics crayon in a War over it. And applying it over black just makes it more deeper and intense. Now it's time to finish up. I'm going to first curl my lashes before applying the Smashbox Super Fan Mascara. I'm applying a generous amount both to my top as well as bottom lashes before I use false lashes. And for lashes, I'm using Lily Lashes in Rome. The final step is to highlight the inner corner. Using the shade Polished with a flat brush, I'm going to press it in the very inner corner. And here is the finished eye look.
I feel so glamorous with this makeup. Wow. The cut creases, where have you been after 2016? This looks fabulous. Okay, so let's move on to the lips. For that soft brown lip, I'm going to start with the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil, and this is in the shade Limitless Brown. So I'm going to be using it in the borders to shape my lips, and I'm going to softly blend it inward. So when I apply the lipstick, they blend in seamlessly. And for lipstick, I'm going to be using Milani in 450, which is Desire. This is again a very soft brown lipstick, but I'm also applying it just very light-handedly because I just want very little color on my lips, just like what she has. With her hair, she just has it to the side, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing.
And then came the necklace. I started with air dry clay that I bought from Michael's and a piece of wire to ensure flexibility in the back of the neck. I began by molding the snake's head, shaping the clay carefully to form its structure. Once I had that basic shape, I used carving tools to define the nose, mouth, eyes before adding delicate scales to its face. The next step was to create the snake's body, for which I used more clay and I cut it into 2 parts. I attached the first part to the head and carefully carved out scales along its length, ensuring a consistent and realistic texture. And to carve out the scales, I used hairpins and carving tools. And then I inserted one side of the wire into the body, allowing for flexibility, and connected the other end to the tail section, which I sculpted separately before adding the final set of scales. Once the structure was complete, I let the clay dry overnight to ensure it has hardened properly. Nice thing about air dry clay, especially used for jewelry, is that you don't need to oven bake it. The next day, I painted the entire necklace with gold acrylic paint, giving it a rich metallic finish. And after this dried, which was almost instant, I attached some rhinestones as well as gems to enhance it. And here's my beautiful handcrafted snake necklace.
That is the finest piece of jewelry that I own. That looks so stunning. Oh my God. And here is the completed look. I love this look, but I'd love to know your thoughts. And do you enjoy these videos where I show you the entire process of creating jewelry and an entire look rather than just the makeup or the hair? Let me know in comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to thumbs up. If you plan to recreate, please don't forget to tag me on Instagram. You'll find that link in the description box below, along with all the products that I used today. If you're new here or haven't already, please consider subscribing to watch more videos like this. I love you guys so much, and I will see you soon with a brand new one. Bye guys.